What's up, weirdos, and welcome back to another episode of Universe of Weirdos. It is I, Jay Craft, the Golden Child, the 40-year-old Golden Child. I know a lot of 40-year-old children, though, to be fair. A lot of people my age that just never seem to grow up and still just want to I just hang out, play video games all day. You know, it's what I do. I've been doing that since high school, and it's never gotten old. I don't know. To each their own, though, I guess. And yeah, it's a quick return to FAQ, man. FAQ, feedback and questions. I've been getting a lot of them lately. I think it's like I got a ridiculous amount of downloads last month. A lot of new listeners from all over the world. Like, I got a ton of people from Vietnam. So if you're one of my Vietnamese listeners, welcome aboard. I'm happy to have you. And then a lot of downloads from the Middle East. And then some countries I've never even heard of before. Like, I had to Google, like, where is this country? So I don't know. Welcome aboard, everybody. I'm happy to have you. Welcome to the Universe of Weirdos. And this is an episode where I read all of your feedback and your questions that you have for me that you either send to my Twitter/X account at jcraft247, or you might send me a DM on Instagram, Universe of Weirdos. But a lot of these come from my email, which is now universeofweirdos@gmail.com. So send me any of your feedback and questions. I'm happy to go over any of them, except for a lot of people wanting to talk to me about AI. Like, I've become some sort of like expert, or like I've become like the AI apologist or something, when really that's not even really that big of a passion subject to me. It's something that I've realized divides people, and people seem to like to talk about one way or another, whether they're positive or negative about it. And I don't know. I find it fascinating, but at the same time, it's like a lot of you guys are a lot more passionate about the subject than I am, so I don't really care. Even though, yes, I am talking over an AI-generated piece of music, which, that's not music, it's shit, it's elevator music. Get the fuck out of here, man. Like, it's that big of a deal that I'm talking over some sort of generic music bed that, like, it's not like I'm going, like, let's turn it up and analyze the guitar. Like, it gives a shit, man. It's just something that adds a little something to the background. Here, I'll fade it out for you. I'll fade it out. If you're bothered by AI music, there you go. Boom, it's gone. But this is FAQ, feedback and questions, and on the last one I did say that a lot of my listeners do also listen to these Dabbleverse podcast, which is, there's a lot of podcasts out there that will review other people's shows and kind of make fun of them. And it's normally a well-deserved roasting. There's a lot of people, it's mainly focused around Stuttering John, formerly of The Howard Stern Show. And he's pretty cringeworthy. I've seen a few clips of his. I tried to watch one stream one time, but I lasted about 5 minutes before I realized I have no idea who these people are that he's talking about. So I just kind of checked out. But I did say, if enough of you reach out to me and send me who you want me to review, I will listen to their show for the first time, and I will cut out clips. I'll listen and I'll react. I'll give you my take, and I'll be an honest, fair take. I know you guys want me to make fun of it, but hey, if I come across something that I like, I'll admit that it's good. I'll admit that something's funny if it's funny. So the big one to narrow this list down is Stuttering John by a mile. Like, everybody wants me to review that dude, so he's definitely in the in category. I've been getting Opie again, people wanting me to talk about Opie again. I might look into Opie one or two more times, maybe. He's fascinating to me. Like, I actually like listening to Opie's podcast, even though it's not very good. But I'll check in on it every now and then, and I'm just like, man, this is not very good. But it's I guess the same thing that fascinates a lot of you guys who are familiar with Stuttering John. It's like, dude, that fall from grace is impressive. That is an impressive fall from grace. I also got a few people that I've never heard of suggested to me. I did get Chad Zumach was mentioned a lot. I am not going to review Chad Zumach. I know that he's a dick. I've heard from enough people that he's a dickhead, but he also does a lot of stand up with people that I know and respect, so I have to give the dude a pass. Sorry. I'm not going to do the Z Man. But also Karmic X. I don't know who that is. It sounds really cringy to call yourself that. Keanu Thompson. I don't know who he is either. I picture like Keenan Thompson's brother, maybe with like long dreads. Or let me see. Oh wow, I was way wrong. Keanu Thompson is a fairly attractive female, so never mind. I was wrong on that one. Aaron M. Holt suggested I will probably check into old Steel Toe. I'm familiar with him a little bit. I've heard his radio show. And Scorch, man, Scorch is just sad. I'm not going to review Scorch's show, but I do know who he is. Yeah, I'll check out a couple of these. I'll cut up the audio. I'll react to a few of them, but don't get used to it. I don't want to be a trashing people guy. So, but you know, enough people have requested do Opie again, do fucking Stuttering John, make fun of that idiot. So, all right. So let's get into some of this. Jay sent me this one at universeofweirdos@gmail.com. In response to my Nerd Life with Sean Jones Jr. episode, our generation definitely got behind movie stars. Michael B. Jordan, Scarlett Johansson, Chris Pratt, Chris Evans. Basically anyone in Marvel were our folks. My point was like the TV actors. Like, look at these people. Chris Pratt went from Parks and Recreation to being a movie star, right? Michael B. Jordan went from being a child star on random like Cosby Show and The Wire to being this big movie star. Our generation, like, it didn't really like we didn't really get behind those people. And Chris, like that stuff happened later. That happened with the current generation of people who are making stars. I'm just saying, like, the people who were on Power Rangers and stuff, they never even got the opportunity. People that were on the live action Nickelodeon and Disney shows of our generation, they were never even given that opportunity. Nobody ever thought to even try to put them in movies and stuff. So that's what I meant by that. It was just there was a lot of stigma on TV actors and kid actors of our generation. So, let's see. Do you ever listen back to your podcast and write down some of your lines to use later? And then he quoted me, "If you put your dick through a glory hole, I'm gonna kick it." Had me laughing for 2 days. I don't remember that. So no, I don't. I don't listen back. I don't remember when I ever said, "If you put your dick through a glory hole, I'm gonna kick it." I don't remember ever saying that. I listened back to the podcast once. And that's before I post it, just to make sure there's no weird things in the audio, no weird things that I need to take out or anything. And then that's the only time I ever really listened back. But I guess if I still did stand up, I would probably go back and listen to old episodes and cut out some stuff. But nah, I don't really do that. But I'm glad that I don't know in what context I would have said, "If you put your dick through a glory hole, I'm gonna kick it." Send me another one, Jay. Send me something back, Jay. What episode was that? I'm curious. Dan, I guess this is in response to AI, which, I mean, I got a decent amount of these, but I'm just choosing Dan. I agree with most of you on your takes of what about these people? I agree with you. It's fucking cringy. Dan says there are people out there that call themselves AI artists and AI musicians or even master prompters. You have to at least admit that those people are cringe AF. Yes, I do admit that they are cringe AF. And I'm a master prompter. I know one of those dudes right now. Like, once upon a time ago, I wrote a bunch of comic book scripts and tried to get them sold and stuff. And there was a dude who hired me to write a script for one of his characters. And I wrote a really decent script for him and handed it over to him, and he just decided to abandon the idea of getting it made as a comic book, and he is currently telling me that he is using AI to make it into an AI movie, which to me is so cringy. Like, I don't want to be responsible for writing an AI movie. Like, ugh, I don't like that. It's skeevy. It feels fucking weird to me, and I don't like it. So, yes, I know those people too, and they're weird. Dee Dee sent me this back, good old day diver. I'm an artist, and I don't think I'm very arrogant or full of myself. I personally don't like AI art, but it doesn't bother me like some people. I use AI in almost every other aspect of my life, so I'd be a hypocrite to spend too much energy hating it. Yes, I know lots of cool artists too. I don't mean to paint every artist as being a dickhead. I've worked with plenty of really cool people before who are artists that I've done collaborative works with that are really cool people. But yeah, it's like any other creative industry, like where people have like a talent, like they will recognize that they have a talent, start getting full of themselves and being dickheads. Same thing in comedy. Same thing in writing. Like people that know that they're good at something will start to go like, "Yeah, I'm fucking the shit. I'm fucking great." You know, every industry has their dickheads. So, let's see. Do you ever worry that having strong opinions one way or another will divide your audience and lose you listeners? No, no, I don't. I've been picking up a lot of listeners. The more that I've been doing this, the more listeners I've been gaining, and every now and then I get a big surge of them. I don't know what the reason would be, but I don't know. Maybe, hey, if you're a new listener, shoot me an email, universeofweirdos@gmail.com. Let me know why you're listening. I'd be happy to know. I want to know what brought you on board. How did you discover the podcast? What popped up? I know so every now and then people will discover me on YouTube, which I think is kind of weird because I don't know. I don't know why you would listen to a podcast on YouTube, but I appreciate it. I appreciate anybody who listens to this. But no, I don't think that having a strong opinion one way or another will lose me listeners. I think having a strong opinion one way or another is something that everyone should have. And, you know, every now and then you need to have a strong opinion, especially I need to have a strong opinion every now and then because a lot of my shit is always, oh, I don't know, sounds good. If you like it, then whatever. Like, I have a very who gives a shit attitude towards a lot of things. So every now and then, you know, I force myself to have a strong opinion. And if somebody hates something that I say and decides to not listen to my podcast because of it, bye. Goodbye, you child. CJ, he swears by his delivery story that I read on the last FAQ and called him out on it and said that I thought he was lying, saying that he got blown in a delivery vehicle at Chick-fil-A. And he also called me out and said that I called him BJ instead of CJ. I'm pretty sure that was a Freudian slip because you told a blowjob story. But yeah, I mean, whatever, dude. I appreciate your contribution to the last FAQ episode. I appreciate the story that you shared. It was amusing. We got some good content out of it, but you know, I reserve the right to not believe it, even if you swear up and down that it happened. He also wants to know, have you ever seen someone completely crash out on stage or break down because they were performing so badly? Yeah. Yeah, I've seen plenty of it where like sometimes it's like you watch their soul evaporate because it'll be like they start out with this enthusiasm, man, and like, hey, how's everybody doing? And then by the end of it, they're just, and then, okay, well, I'm gonna bring on your next comedian. It's pretty funny to see every now and then, and you know, it's pretty twisted to laugh at it, but at the end of the day, it's pretty funny to watch somebody. I've never seen really anybody crash out. Like I've seen people like yell at hecklers and stuff like that, but no, never anybody like, that was a funny joke, you fucks. But you know, I've never seen that. But my favorite is to watch the open micers who like, you know, they're the funny guy at work, but they don't necessarily know how to write a joke, so they just decide to go up on stage and tell their funny stories that they told at work, and you watch them completely change their career ambitions. You can see it on their face that they're like, maybe comedy's not for me, but I am appreciative of the experience. Your next comedian coming to the stage. So no, I've never seen anybody completely crash out. Sammy also has a stand-up related question. Have you ever gotten fucked up on stage? I feel like I would do better at comedy open mics if I had a drink or smoked a J before going up. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I used to do a decent amount of drinking. I used to smoke a decent amount of weed before I go on stage, and it never resulted in a better performance. It almost always actually resulted in a worse performance. So I don't suggest it. I mean, it works with some people. Doug Stanhope is actually a lot funnier drunk than he is sober. So if you see him on a later show, he's funnier. So go if you see Doug Stanhope and he's performing at 7 and 9, go to the 9 because he will be funnier, I promise you, because he's been drinking. So, um, yeah, I got really, really drunk at this club in I'm pretty sure it's Huntington Beach, California, called Martini Blues. I was doing a stand-up show there, and they have some sort of like they invented the apple teeny or some sort of like they invented the there's some sort of martini bar that their claim to fame is they invented some sort of, famous martini that's around the thing. So they were just feeding me martinis all night. And I went up after having like 12 martinis, which is like, I don't know, almost 20 shots of alcohol probably. I was fucking hammered. And at one point, this dude was saying something to me, and I just go ahead, bro. What are you trying to say? What are you saying? You trying to heckle me? Just get it out. And he goes, no, I'm just trying to point out that your hand is like wrist deep inside of that glass of water. And I looked over, and my fist was inside of the glass of water that I brought up with me on stage. And yeah, after that, I decided I am not going to drink before I go up on stage anymore. And then, I quit drinking altogether. So whatever. Craig wants to know who's the most famous person you've ever met. There's been a decent amount of them. Jeff Gordon was somebody who I met when I was a little kid. I actually ate dinner with him and his wife when I was a little kid. I don't know the whole story because I was like real young, so I don't remember a whole lot of it. I just remember eating chicken with Jeff Gordon and his wife, and it was at some sort of thing that my dad was doing for his job at the time. Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark would be the most famous person that I've met. She's world renowned. Caitlin Clark. She's probably the most famous person by a mile that I've ever met. But I've known Nikki Glazer. I know Theo Vaughn, Tiffany Haddish. I've done stand up with Damon Wayans. I don't know, man. I've met a lot of people because I also did a lot of stand up in the LA area. So every now and then, like these really famous people would stop in and do stuff, and like you could meet them sometimes, but sometimes they were just in and out. Like I was on the same show as Dave Chappelle one time. So I guess I could say, dude, technically I opened for Dave Chappelle because it was a showcase show at the Improv in Hollywood, and he just came in, did 10 minutes and left after I had performed 25 minutes prior. So I didn't get the chance to meet him, but yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff happens a lot. So you do end up and that's the other funny thing too about doing stand up is you will watch just any random TV show or movie, and you will just see people that you know. Like, hey, there's Rory Scovel. I know that motherfucker. What's he doing in this movie? That's weird. But yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Tyler says, I'm starting to like wrestling less and less. It's gotten to a point where I look up to people that do podcasts about wrestling more than the people performing. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that you looked up to wrestlers all that much, Tyler. Thank you for sharing. Chris Van Fleet, Sam Roberts, and you have become more like people I'd like to imitate. Me, I don't fit into the category of those other two people. I do a podcast, but those dudes are way more successful at it than me. And Sam Roberts is not somebody that you should want to imitate because he is a shit stirrer. I am very familiar with Sam Roberts. Go back and listen to him on Opie and Anthony way back in the day, and you'll know what kind of a little shit stirrer Sam Roberts can be. Let's see. What advice would you give to someone who wants to be in an industry like wrestling without actually wrestling? I know you aren't in that industry, but I assume a lot of performance based professions are somewhat similar in how they operate. And also, who were some people you looked up to and wanted to be when you were younger? Let's start with advice. Somebody wants to be in the industry with wrestling without actually wrestling. I would reach out to some of the local wrestling schools that are around where you live. Like there are a lot of those places that like train wrestlers. Reach out to those dudes, find their Facebook page and be like, "Hey man, can I come in and check it out? Just look around." And then while you're there, just go, "Hey, how could I be like a manager or the Mean Gene of like indie wrestling?" And then they might even let you do some shit for their YouTube channel or whatever. And I mean, it's just all about asking. You got to ask to get the opportunity sometimes. Just look around for it. There's a thing that I always hold true in every creative industry that I've ever tried to do anything in, which is if somebody is successful in this, then it's possible to be successful in this. So how did they do it? And I will try to do what they did, at least at the similar road that they did it. So I would suggest, like, if you want to be like somebody who writes wrestling promos for somebody, find an indie wrestler and say, "Can I write you a promo?" It's not that hard, man. A lot of these people will be very open to interacting with you. Creative people like working with creative people if they take it seriously and they're worth a shit. Like that's the biggest kind of misconception I think people have about comics and people who write comedy is a lot of people they're really mean and they really aren't accepting of other people and it's like, "Nah, it's just we don't want hacks around. We don't want really unfunny people dragging us down. We if you're very good and you're very funny, come and hang out. We'll all laugh and have a good time." That's how that one works. What were some people I looked up to and wanted to be when I was younger? I kind of a lot of radio guys, like the Ron and Fez show was one that I really looked up to. I really liked just other comics like that were around. Again, my good buddy Otto was somebody who I appreciated his work ethic and the way that he could basically thrive in any environment and be funny no matter where he was. Like that was always something that I looked up to with Otto. May he rest in peace. I know a lot of you have reached out to me going like, "Yeah, man, fucking Otto's great." And I appreciate that. So, I mean, it's not a lot. It's been just a few of you, but I do appreciate the kind words. He was somebody that I really looked up to a lot. And then just other random guys. I don't know, man. Like nobody specific. I was never really a big celebrity worship type of dude. Like I always just I just really appreciated other people's creativity. So I don't know, man, just look into some of those people. I don't know what I'm talking about. People I looked up to and wanted to be when I was younger. I don't really know, man. And then of course, Denise, I'm going to end with your awesome question. What's the scariest animal that you think you could beat up with your bare hands? This is one of my favorite questions that I have ever gotten to read on feedback and questions because I don't really know and I still don't really have a definitive answer because it's like, do I think that I could beat up a chimpanzee? Maybe not because those things are fucking scary. They'll bite your face off. So I don't think I could even beat up a chimpanzee. I maybe a dog, like maybe like a pit bull. I might be able to take one down, fucking give it a fucking nice couple of punches to the face and maybe I could choke one out or something. I feel any animal that I could get a good grip around its neck, if I could take its back, I could definitely choke it out because everything's got carotid arteries in its neck, so I could just cut those off. Blood flow to the neck, passes out. That's why they call the rear naked choke the Mata Leon, the lion killer, because you can take down a lion with that choke. But man, the scariest animal that I could face with my bare hands, definitely not a bear. I couldn't do that. I could probably fuck up a smaller horse like a pony, but that's not really scary. That's not a scary animal. Man, it would have to be like maybe a pit bull. I think I could probably beat up a pit bull with my bare hands as long as I could avoid it really latching on with the jaw. As long as I could avoid being really bitten and it latching onto, I could probably get a couple of good shots in, take down a pit bull. But man, I don't know. That's a really, really hard question, Denise, and I really, really like that one. I could definitely beat up my cat, and I want to sometimes, but that's animal abuse. But man, if she doesn't stop scratching on that goddamn door jamb. Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to beat up Kitty Jones. Kitty Jones is awesome, and she could probably take me, to be fair. There's a lot of cats out there that I could probably beat up, but Kitty Jones is scrappy, and I think that she could kick my ass. Another human. I could definitely take down another human with my bare hands, but I don't know. That's a really, really good question. Maybe a mountain lion. I don't know, but maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I have no idea, but maybe you guys can tell me, what do you think is the scariest animal that you could beat up? Let me know. universeofweirdos@gmail.com. I am more than happy to read off what animals that you guys think that you could take in a fight. Send me any sort of messages that you want on Twitter/X, JCraft247 over there. Instagram, Universe of Weirdos. And if you could do me a really solid favor and rate, review, give a thumbs up or a 5-star rating on whatever podcast platform you're listening on, I would greatly appreciate it. I think those things help make me a featured podcast on podcast apps that people seem to be listening to in Vietnam and the Middle East. So, I don't know. I still don't know. I don't really have the explanation for why I suddenly have a lot of Middle Eastern listeners and like a lot of people from Vietnam. That one was really confusing to me, but again, I'm very happy to have you all on board. Welcome to the Universe of Weirdos, because I'm going to be back very soon with a lot of really fun stuff. I still have that final part of the Heaven's Gate cult that I need to listen to, their initiation tape. I still have to react to that. I need to go buy myself a THC-infused soda to sip on while we listen to Marshall Herf Applewhite make an idiot of himself. And several other people that he convinced to eat, I'm pretty sure it was cyanide-laced applesauce. So, yeah. And great news, I have another cult in mind that I'm going to do an episode on after we wrap up the Heaven's Gate cult. There's a cult out there that worshipped Final Fantasy VII. So I'm going to be looking into those guys, and they're going to get at least their very own episode. I don't think it's going to be a 4-part epic like the Heaven's Gate cult, but we're going to be going there very soon. And if you can't get enough of me in podcast form, I also have another podcast, Planet W, a WNBA podcast that is a podcast about professional women's basketball, because I am an Indiana Fever MVP. I'm a season ticket holder over there and have been for several years. I go to a lot of Fever games and root for our Indiana Fever ladies, and I'm always excited to be at the basketball games because I like watching basketball live. It's a lot of fun. So if you want to listen to that, shoot on over to Planet W and listen to me and Brother Dan talk about the WNBA. But if not, I'll see you on here next time. I love you, and I'm blasting off. See ya.